Give yourselves a round of applause for sticking around for this. Thanks for joining us. This is your opportunity to ask any questions you have about either the show you just saw or about your Chloe or about your great asset. This is your opportunity to ask questions about either the show you just saw or about the entertainment industry in general. I will do my best to answer those questions. Incidentally, for those of you with short-term memory loss, I'm Justin. I hosted the show you just watched. So, right off the bat, any questions that you guys have about anything? Right over here, yeah.
Yeah, in Fast and Furious movies, there are like lots of cars who crash. So how does it affect you?
How are the effects made for a movie like Fast and Furious? Fast and Furious is one of those that prides itself on doing a lot of actual stunts. When it comes to stunts, whether they will do a digital effect or whether they will do a practical effect typically depends on the budget, and it also depends on how dangerous it is. A great example, Fast and Furious, they do a lot of the drifting. They actually have professional drivers that can do all that drifting. It's very cool. If you go to Universal in Orlando, we've got a whole Fast and Furious show down there where you can see them actually drifting live and how good they are. They can have people literally stand in a spot, come at somebody at 80 miles an hour, and they'll stop, 16 inches from them. I mean, they're that good, some of these people. They really are. But then you get to other stunts where it's like, what's a great example? Reds, which was a movie of ours not too long ago. At one point, Bruce Willis is driving in his car, and in slow motion, while he starts to drift, the car door, there is no car door in the vehicle, he literally steps out of it while the car continues to spin off that way. That's a digital effect, that's not real. Okay. Explosions, typically a mixture of the two. If you have a car that explodes, sometimes we actually blow up a car if we want a really big explosion. We'll use a real-life pyrotechnic explosion, and then we'll add some digital effects to it. On the major movies, a lot of times it comes down to what will look real and what won't. If we can fool the audience doing it digitally, we will if we have the budget, because it's safer a lot of times too. Yeah, so I hope that answered your question. That was a great question. Oh, all the way back, this guy right over here, yeah. How do they make characters digital? That's a great question. You look at something like Despicable Me, and that's all stuff that's drawn on a computer, so they draw that. But then you look at something like Dawn of Planet of the Apes, and while that's mostly motion capture, so it's in Jurassic Park, what do they use? They use both in Jurassic Park, as a matter of fact. It depends upon which creature it is. Something like, I'll go back to a better example is how far motion capture has come. Like for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, they actually had Andy Serkis, instead of him just being in a room, a green screen room, we now have technology that Andy Serkis can have. He played the part of Caesar, the ape, but obviously it's an all-digital character. But he is actually able to be out on set with them, so they can be on location somewhere, and he will have all the motion capture pieces all over him. And just now you saw Jerry, he had like 50-some motion capture. That's a very archaic amount. Nowadays, we would have thousands all over someone. You would have 150 just on the person's face alone. 150 tiny little dots all over. But nowadays, it's so good that they can actually be out on set. So when they're filming on the outskirts of San Francisco, Andy Serkis is there actually acting out being Caesar the monkey, right there along with the actors. It's easier for the actors, too, because now they don't have to imagine someone there. They can literally respond to him if he swipes at them, instead of the director saying, okay, he's swiping at you, jump back. Yeah, makes it easier. Yeah, that's a great question. Right over here, you have a question. How did Omar and Jerry switch? That is a great question. I'll back it up just a little bit and I'll let you in on a secret. It's not really Jerry's first day. Yeah, and 2 summers ago was his first day as well. That's crazy. What are the chances we'd have another guy named Jerry? It's his very first day whenever you're here. I'll let you in on another secret. Jerry's not even his real name. Okay? That's an act. All of us up here actor or working actors in LA. So you can see us on TV, you can see us in commercials. This is just something we do when we're not, when we haven't booked a gig. We're here. Kurt and Shannon both work all the time. Shannon is Jerry. And I do a lot of voiceover. So if I sound familiar, then you have little ones that play video games, or you are a little one that plays video games. But yeah, so when did we switch them? At one point, Kurt said, Omar, let's go put on your helmet. And they walked way upstage. And at the same time, that cart over there that has the Sphinx on it, that was being pushed across the stage from here to there. It was moving across. Well, if you could have looked on the other side of that cart, you would have seen Jerry and our stage manager, Kelly, really close together. He holds her by her shoulders, and they go like this all the way across the stage so nobody will see them. And then when you get to the point of the stage where Omar is, Kelly grabs Omar, puts him in a headlock, and forces him off stage. And then Jerry just takes his place with the helmet on. So you might have seen Jerry and I wandering around before the show, kind of walking around, and we'll do things like this, and we'll kind of talk, and we'll point at a couple, and we'll look at them a little bit, and we'll talk, and then maybe I will approach that couple. We're looking for a guy who's the same body type as Jerry. So if you're a guy and you're wondering why you didn't get picked as our volunteer, it's because you might be 6'3" and Jerry is 5'7". So it'd be really tough to pull off that trip. That was an excellent question right over there. All right, I got time for like 2 more. Right over here, what's your question? How do we make people look really small in movies? Okay, well, sometimes we will have, are you talking about real people, or are you talking about something like Harry Norman? Excellent question. When we have something like that. Well, what we can do, just like that we did, you know when we have this glass mat over here, what we will do, she wanted to know how we can make people look like they're on a scale model or something like that, because that was actually used in the film The Mummy from 15 years ago, and there were little people walking around and working on the Sphinx over there. What we will do is we will make we'll make a little set backdrop that is maybe only 5 or 10 feet wide that will match exactly what is right there. And we'll shoot a close-up of the person working on that little area, and then we take that tiny little bit and we put it in the wide shot, and we insert it on the shot with the computer right next to it. So it looks like they're really standing right there next to it, actually working on the Sphinx. That was an excellent question. Well, I've got time for one more, right over here.
Yeah. Technology has, reduced the work of makeup artists. Are they not required anymore?
That's a good question. Has technology made makeup artists obsolete? Not at all. First off, we use, stars are not nearly as good looking as you think they are, okay? Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of really good looking people out there. Brad Pitt just keeps getting better and better looking. It's not fair. I look at him and I go, it's not cool that you're a great guy and a great actor that you look that good. It's not fair for the rest of us. But no, I mean, we'll always need makeup artists. If you're talking about in terms of prosthetics and things like that for digital characters, we still use them even in today's day and age. We're so good at digital, but you look at a movie like Men in Black 3, where it's like it was a combination of prosthetics that was placed on our villain, but his eyes were also completely digital. So it's a marriage of the two. I don't think we'll ever quite get rid of actual makeup artists and things like that. You guys were fantastic and you had such great questions. Give yourselves a round of applause. I'll hang down here. You guys can exit over here to your right. I'll hang down here for just a moment more. If there was a burning question somebody didn't get asked, or if you want to take a picture. Have a great day, guys. Bye.